today's installation video, we'll be showing you how to install the RaceChip on a Lexus IS 300 equipped with the 2.0 turbo, available in many different Lexus models.
Before installing the RaceChip, please wait until your engine is cool enough to work on. Put your parking brake or emergency brake on. If your vehicle is equipped with an alarm system, please disable it. Pop the hood, roll up the windows, close the doors, and press the lock button on your key fob and move that key fob 30 feet away. You're gonna wait about 10 minutes after for all the electricity to clear from underneath the hood.
Our A connection is going to go to our boost pressure sensor right here on the passenger side top of the motor. And our B connection is going to go to our manifold pressure sensor right here, same thing on the passenger side on the front of the motor. Please be aware this vehicle is equipped with an aftermarket intake, however it should not affect our two installation locations. First, we will begin by installing our A connection to our boost pressure sensor. To do so, we're going to press down on the locking tab of the OEM sensor plug. We'll then take the male end of the RaceChip wiring harness and plug that directly in and wait till it clicks and snaps. We'll take the female end of the RaceChip wiring harness and plug that directly into the OEM sensor. Plug it in until it snaps. Next up is our B connection to our manifold pressure sensor. Just like the A, we're going to press down the locking tab and pull back. Take the RaceChip harness, plug it directly in, make sure it clicks and locks. And then take the RaceChip harness and plug it directly into that OEM sensor, making sure it clicks and locks. Next up is to zip tie the wiring harness out of the way of any hot and moving parts. And if we're going to zip tie it to any electrical or fluid lines like I am here, we want to make sure the zip tie is not too tight. Next up is to trim the excess ends off the zip ties to give everything a nice OEM look. Next up on the installation is to insert our 4 mounting tabs. Now the really nice thing about our mounting tabs is if you ever need to remove the RaceChip for any reason to take it in for warranty or service work, instead of having to actually cut and replace the zip ties each and every time, instead you can press down on the corners of the locking tab to remove the RaceChip but leave the zip ties and mounting tabs in place. One of the last steps here is to actually mount the RaceChip. So just like the wiring harness, we want to keep the RaceChip away from any hot and moving parts. We also want to put it someplace that it's hard for moisture to get to. So usually near the battery or the fuse box is a good place. So as you can see, we're mounting just in front of the battery for this application, but this is just a recommended place. This is not where you have to mount the RaceChip. Next step is to remove the deactivation plug and actually install the RaceChip into the wiring harness. So to remove the deactivation plug, we're simply going to pull on our purple FCI plug, and then we're going to lift to remove the deactivation plug. Now we want to hang on to this. If you ever need to revert the car back to stock for any reason, you can put this in place of the RaceChip without having to remove the wiring harness. We suggest placing this in your glove box or even your center console. So with the deactivation plug uninstalled, we're going to go ahead and take the purple FCI plug and install it directly into the RaceChip itself, locking it in place. It's really important the first time we plug in the wiring harness that we get no power to the device. So if you have the GTS, we don't want any LEDs lighting up on the screen, or if you have the RS or S, we do not want that green LED to illuminate.
Start in the default setting of the RaceChip for the first time you test drive the car. If everything works great, you can then move the RaceChip to the next level up. Be aware that the car needs some time to adapt before releasing the full performance upgrade. Now, get out, drive, and enjoy your RaceChip.